Hey, welcome back to another episode of From Hobby to House Name, your number one podcast station for real talk around running a photography business and how to get paid doing everything you love to do. And in today's episode, we are going to talk about the 4 lies that everyone tells you about your industry, the lies that you are telling yourself about running a photography business. We're going to get into it. We're going to dig in deep today, guys. So get out your pen, get out your paper, get your glass of water or your tea, whatever you need, and join me here today on another episode of From Hobby to House Name. All right, y'all. So let's dig in today. We are going to go over 4 main topics. The first is that your location means anything as far as making money in your photography business. I hear this one almost on a daily, and it's just not true. It's just not true. You can make money regardless of your location, and I'm going to tell you why in just a second. The second thing is that you need a lot of money in order to start making money as a photographer. That you need a ton of money, you need a professional studio, you need top quality gear, you need this, that, or the other in order to actually make a living off photography. Again, guys, it's a lie. You don't need those things. The third one is that they are not going to pay your worth, that the people in your area are too cheap. They're not going to pay your worth. You have to have $50 photo shoots and give people 45 edits. Oh, God, that just makes my head hurt thinking about it. No. You don't have to do that. If that's what your cup of tea is, cool, do it, whatever. But you don't have to. If you don't want to spend all day long editing for $50, don't do it. We'll get into it. And then the fourth biggest, most horrendous lie that I've ever heard is that you don't have time, right? So those are the things that we're really going to go over today. This is a station where it's going to be real. I'm going to actually talk to you guys about everything in order to help uplift you, help you level up, help you get to a stage in your business that you can be incredibly proud of and make good money. That's what we're here for. That's what From Hobby to House Name is about. Let's do this. So the first lie is that you have to live in a massive city with a ton of people in order to make a living. Let's just get in down and dirty right here, right now. Your location means virtually nothing. And I can promise you this because I've done it myself. I am based in Cincinnati, Ohio, which is a relatively big town, but it is not massive. It is by no means Chicago or LA or Boston or Atlanta. We don't have a crazy amount of people living in Cincinnati. And for the people that we do have, a lot of them would look at my particular avant-garde, high fashion style and snicker, right? So it's not something that people weren't interested in as much as, say, like wedding photography or engagements, because those are still very normalized things that people do on the daily. They get married, they get engaged, they have babies, right? That's just how life goes sometimes. But for me, I knew that my people might not be in Cincinnati, even though that's where I was at. Maybe they're in bigger, more artistic, creative towns. Maybe they're in places like Chicago. And so when I was first starting my business and I noticed, okay, I'm getting a couple people from Cincinnati, but I'm not getting enough people to actually make a living the way that I need to make a living. What I would do instead is I would market outside my city. Right? Listen, let's say that again. I would market outside of my city. Where you live is not the only place you can market, right? So the second thing that comes up with this is a lot of people say, Krista, I can't drive 7 hours outside of my city every single day. No, you can't. And no, you don't have to. Listen, let's do this. So I would spend half of my time, like let's say, because I do all of my major marketing the very first week and a half of the month and then the last week and a half of the month. Those seem to be for me when people are spending the most money. That's when they're really knocking it out. So I spend those 2 time frames working on photo shoots and the inner 2 time frames working on Screw the Struggle, my edits, my websites, all that stuff. So when I'm not making the bulk of my photo shoot money is when I'm marketing for other things. So anyways, what I would do is spend that first week and a half marketing in Cincinnati. that last week and a half marketing in Chicago, right? And this was within my first year and a half of business, right? This was when I didn't have a ton of money. I didn't have a ton of resources. Facebook ads weren't a thing. I had to organically go out there, grab people and tell them, hey, yo, I want you to pay $400 for this photo shoot. I want you to get this hotel. I want you to drive 7+ hours to me, because the experience I'm going to give you and the images that I'm going to give you are not available anywhere near you. You cannot get an experience like me in your town. And that's what I gave them. That's the reaction I gave people. That's the things that I did, and the way that I created a relationship was to show them, you cannot find this anywhere else. It is better for you to come here and let me handle it than for you to go anywhere else, because you will not find it. And I believed that deep down in my heart, in my soul. I believed that, right? So I really believe that's the first thing, is to figure out what it is that you offer that makes you a completely unique individual and business owner. What is it about your photography business that makes it impossible and improbable for them to go to the people in their specific area, right? So what did we just say? Part 1, market outside of your town. 2, figure out what makes you different. Why should they come to you? Why should they drive 7+ hours? Why should they get a hotel room? What do you do? What can you offer that's better? Whether that's better images. For me, I could offer completely unique images and completely unique wardrobe that they literally could not get anywhere else. They could not. Maybe you offer incredible locations and incredible experiences. Maybe you have champagne and chocolate covered strawberries at every photo shoot. God knows I would drive for that, for somewhere where I could walk into a photo shoot and I didn't have to worry about absolutely anything. I'm already engaged. I'm already stressed. I want this day to be fun and just not have to worry about it, right? You could add on to that and be like, these are a couple of locations near me that you and your fiance could go and have a blast if they're wanting to do that. Like, let's say you're doing an engagement session, send them a list of 5 places near you, or near your studio, that they can go and have a date night before the photo shoot. And then come in the next day refreshed. You've got chocolate covered strawberries sitting out, maybe a little glass of champagne or a mimosa or something like that. That gets them very excited and ready to go and have a great day. Market outside of your city and really, really, really dig in on what you have to offer, right? You don't have to drive 7 hours. Your perfect clients will come to you. People buy what they want. So if you create an experience, if you have photo evidence, which is what I would do, I would create a PDF. If people ask you and they're out of your city, create a little PDF and show them what the entire experience looks like. Say, these are some areas I have where you can have a date night. This is what it looks like when you arrive at my studio. We handle absolutely everything for you. All you have to worry about is showing up. We handle all of it. I can tell you what hotels are right next to me, the whole 9, right? Make it an experience. And people will absolutely pay for that because they want it. Dig in on what your niche needs. They need ease. They need to feel comfort. They need to feel less stressed. For me, my people, they want epic images, and they'll pay for that. They want amazing images. They want to wear a wardrobe that makes them feel like princesses or fairy tale characters, something along those lines. Right? So again, your location means nothing. Market outside of that, bring in new people. Second thing, you need a lot of money to start. This is one of the largest lies. And the reason why is because when I first started, guys, my studio looked horrendous. Like, let's just be real. It looked horrendous. I had a studio in my parents' house. We would do hair and makeup in their kitchen. And then I would take people behind our house on this little horrible slab. I will take a picture and put it in the description. Like, I'll show you guys what it looks like. It'll probably be on my Instagram after this airs, of what this little slab looks like, right? And I would shoot against that. I would put up a bed sheet, a black bed sheet that I would have to iron or put in the dryer every single day. And I would do photo shoots against that. And so I would spend an average of about $20 a month on props because I didn't have any money. I wasn't making enough money to spend a ton of money. So I had to come up with these other alternatives of things that would work and things that I could do while still giving people epic images. And here's the thing, guys. People don't care 100% what it looks like as long as the outcome is what you are promising you're going to deliver, right? So I know, even at the time, I wanted my studio, my storefront studio with the flowers in the front and the welcome sign. Those were all things I had in my head that I wanted my future to look like. But at the time, I couldn't afford it. So I just want to remind you guys that you can have amazing, amazing experiences without spending a fortune. If you have money for the welcome sign, do it. If you have money to put a couple flowers out in the front, absolutely do it. For me, we had out bottles of water and I would make strawberries, or I would get fruit plates or something along those lines, so that people had an experience still without me having to spend a fortune and make no profit off of something I was putting so much time and work into. So you don't need a lot of money to start. Figure out some cheaper ways that you can do the stuff you want to do without having to sacrifice your quality. You don't need, I think it was like a 35D, a Nikon 35D or something like that. It was a horrible kit camera with a kit lens that just got the job done. I had to learn how to do Photoshop really well so that I could do the things that I wanted to do, that I knew I needed to make money off of so that I could upgrade when I was able to, but I wasn't able to upgrade. And so I had my prices reflect on that. I said, this is what it is. I promise you that it's going to look amazing. The location might not look excellent today, but your photos will be phenomenal. And I can promise you that. And I never had a single complaint, not even once. So you don't need a ton of money. Which brings me to number 3. They won't pay your worth. When people say this, it makes me incredibly sad because what they're actually saying, what you guys are actually saying, is I don't believe what I need to charge to survive is worth it to people. I don't think that they see the value in what I do. I don't know that I see the value in what I do. And this is so incredibly sad to me because so often photographers will not realize what they do. Guys, we stop time. Do you realize that? We literally stop time. We are able to hold on to something that nobody else has the ability to hold on to. We can take a photo of a moment and make it last forever. We are the core of history, of being able to see history, because we have the ability to hold on to it forever. Forever. People are able to have images of their newborn children in their homes. There is not another single person, another single career on the planet that has the ability to actually physically stop time and hold it out for you and say, I am able to show you every day for the rest of your life what your child looked like at 2 weeks old. Only us. Only what we do can do that. And so that's worth something. When you think about it that way, how much would you pay to hold on to that beautiful moment you have in your head, that beautiful, beautiful moment, your favorite day of being alive? How much would you pay for someone to be able to hand that back to you? I know if it was me, if someone was able to say, Krista, here is a photo of the best day of your life. This is how you felt that day. This is how you looked that day. This is how it was. How much would you give me right now to be able to give this to you so that you can hold on to it forever? I'd give them everything I had. And that's what we do. So remember that. Hold your worth in your heart and don't Don't ever let somebody degrade that and tell you you just click a button. You don't just click a button. You stop time. That's what you do. You stop time. You give them something that they will never, ever, ever, ever be able to hold on to otherwise. And that means so much. So in order for you to make sure that you are getting paid your worth, you need to first of all decide that you are worth it. You need to first of all decide, I'm not going to take on that client that believes that I just click a button. I'm not going to take on that client that doesn't understand what it is that I do. I'm not going to take on a client who doesn't understand the value of the things that I am offering. Because I am worth 2 times that, 3 times that, 10 times what they're offering right now. And there are people out there that understand that. There are people out there who realize what we do and who put thousands upon thousands of dollars of value on that. And those are the people that you should be worrying about. Even if they are 7 to 8 hours away from you, that's okay. They'll come to you. They will come to you. Because again, people buy what they want. And people want to hold on to their memories. People want to be able to look back at a day that they had unimaginable happiness and be able to pull that out at a family reunion and say, look what I did. Or pull that out at their daughter's wedding and say, look, this is a photo of you when you were 3 or 4 months old. This is a photo of you at your birthday. This is a photo of you at your wedding. They want to be able to do that. And we make that possible. So again, first thing that you need to do is make sure that you, first and foremost, understand your worth. That you, first and foremost, are unwilling to be shaken on what you deserve to be paid. Right? First and foremost. And the second thing is really digging on who you want. So if you don't want cheap clients, make sure that you don't have like a cheap website. Make sure that you are only working with people who have the same vibe as you, who have the same level of respect for your work as you do for your work. Okay. And then the fourth and most outrageous lie is that you don't have time. I understand. There are a lot of people who have kids. There are a lot of people who are in school. There are a lot of people who are trying to do this on the side, but then they also, have a 9 to 5. And I understand that. I have been there. I have lived that life. And I will tell you that it is not a time management issue. It is an energy management issue. It is that you are drained. You're drained by the rest of it. And so when we're so drained, we're exhausted. And there are a couple of things that I really would recommend. The first for this is to biohack your body, right? Biohack it. And really, whenever you get off work from your 9 to 5, that is draining your body, that you hate, biohack. Have a dance party as soon as you get home, right? If you are a stay-at-home mom and you work 12 hours on your computer doing stuff you hate and your children are screaming in the background, that's okay. Tell them to go in a different room or to go outside and to play a little bit. We all had to play outside and we lived just fine. They will be just fine. And biohack. Go dance it out. Go have a party by yourself. Maybe have a dance party with them. Biohack. Get yourself back at the level and at the vibration that you need to be at to feel good. And then the second thing is do the absolute most for what you love. If you knew that a year from today, you would be a full-time photographer, if all you had to do was spend an extra 2 hours at night doing everything you had to do, the absolute most, automating, talking to people, having marketing things ready, recording podcasts at 4 a.m., would you do it? If you knew that you would be full-time, that you would never have to work 17 hours again, doing your full-time job and then doing your hobby on the side because you knew you would be where you wanted to be, would you do it? Would you take that risk? Would you put in that time? If you knew you would be everywhere you wanted to be and that you would have everything you wanted, would you do it? If the answer is no, then you might be in the wrong line of work. If the answer is yes, if it is a resounding yes, then do the absolute most. Stop saying that you don't have time. You have time. You have time when you go to the restroom. You have time at the 9 to 5 that you hate. I worked at Home Depot for like a year and a half, I worked at Home Depot. And the reason I got fired is because I was doing the absolute most for not that company, but for myself. Every time I was a cashier, right? And then after that, I was a front end manager, which means that I would run from one end of the store to the other end of the store, right? So for a lot of people, I know you're thinking, Krista, I don't have a job where I get to sit still. Neither did I. I've been there. I understand. You still have to do the absolute most. So when I was at Home Depot, when I was a cashier, anytime I didn't have a client, I would be writing on the back of receipt paper. I would write down my marketing ideas. I would write down my photo shoot ideas. I would write down the amount of money I needed to make in order for me to leave that job. And I would do this every single day. I would write it down over and over and over again, and I would imagine it in my head, what it would look like for me to be able to leave, what it would look like if I got these photo shoots. And I would do that every single day. I would write down the designers that I wanted to work with. I would write down the amount of photo shoots I would have to have with that design in order to have that designer work with me, because they charge you money. So I would have to figure out how much it would cost me and how many photo shoots I would have to book with that one design in order to have it in my studio. And that's what I would do. And then after I got promoted to a front end manager, I would go around, and every single time when I was walking, I would pull out my little notebook, and I would look like I was doing something for the company, but I would pull out my notebook and I would write down the same things. How much money I would need to leave. How much money I would need to work with this designer. How much money I would need to order this new camera I wanted. How much I would need to do these things. What I needed to have, what I needed to look like and feel like inside, what I needed to be. And I would do that every single day because I would keep my mind on what my goal was and not what that company needed. Because guys, I did not care about Home Depot. I was not in it for Home Depot. I was in it for Krista Dixon Photography. For the people that I could serve through Krista Dixon Photography. Home Depot was just my investor. It was not my future. It was not my end game. And that's where you guys are at. You're at your investor. You are at your investor. You are not at your future. Right? I know that there's someone out there. I can feel you. I know there's someone out there that's thinking to themselves, my God, yes. My God, yes. I am at my investor, because your investor is not supposed to be your future. They're supposed to help you get to your future. And that's all that's supposed to be. So stop saying you don't have time. Maybe write down a list of the things that are draining for you and the things that are not draining for you. And focus more on the things that make you feel good. Dance it out in your car before you walk into your investor, or dance it out in your car on your way home from your investor. And figure out the things that feel the best to you in order to do it. And quit saying you don't have time. You do have time. You have time to work on your future. How would that feel if you said that to yourself? I don't have time to work on my future. I don't have time to put things towards my dreams. That doesn't feel the same. That feels horrible. To say I don't care enough to put the energy into the things that I want and not the things that the world tells me I need. That feels completely different. So put your dreams into what you want and make the time. All right, guys, so I really hope you loved this episode of From Hobby to House Name. If you did, please go down below and rate this for me. I would love to see what you guys think, and share this. If you're on Instagram after this and you're going to check out what the studio looked like, the old place with the concrete slab and the 2 small baby pool that my clients' feet would just sit out of, then please share this with your friends. Let them know. If there's someone who needs to hear this, let them know. I would love to talk to you guys, and I will see you next week for another episode of From Hobby to House Name.